Yeah, so, yeah, I just figured I'd get two things out of the way at one time. Yeah, I'm trying to remember where I was because I haven't had a lot of time to, phone cluster in the Columbia system of the Voyager cluster. Alright, that sounds like a good place to start. But anyway, um, yeah. Well, the first thing I wanted to talk about was, something that. Hmm, oh, oh, I guess. Oh, yeah. Guess I'm here. But anyway, was, okay. I haven't paid attention to comic books in a while because I just found it too depressing. I mean, one of the things that I practiced reading with when I was a kid were the Archie comics, the Star Trek Next Generation comics from DC, and the Spider-Man comics you could get at you know, my local grocery store when I was a kid. We had a little local grocery store in the town I grew up in, and that's one of the things I learned to read with. So comic books have been a big thing, and then the news just got too depressing for me to even care about anymore. But then I hear this news where Mark Waid, of all people, is now saying that he wants to see the comic book industry burnt down. And I'm like, that's pretty depressing to hear from a guy, especially since he's supposed to be the liaison between the comic book shops the uh, and the and the publishers. I mean, why would you say that? I mean, it just makes no sense to me. I mean, he says that he what because he doesn't like some of the people in it, but I'm just like, rather than work with some people, he'd rather see it all burned down. But I'm like, so we'd rather see an entire art form just go away, and these companies that have existed for like 80 years, like DC has existed for like almost 80 years at this point. It's closing on 90 years now, I guess. And he'd rather see that go out of business. It just, whoa. I'm just like, and I guess it just is something that shows how depressed I found the latest news from the comic book sites. Like, for instance, there's a new title. Anybody who knows me knows. I mean, that's why I stopped reviewing comic books. I just started finding it too depressing. Even going back and reading the old issues I grew up with, I just found too depressing because of. Just because of. Well, um. Well, I found it so depressing. Well, just because of what they've done with the characters that I loved since then. It's just. It's just. I mean, it's like they have a new title coming out where it's like a what if thing, and it's like the sort of thing I went for. I went for a what if title back in 2000, back in like 2015, I think it was, when they brought out Renew Your Vows, because I was like, well, what if is better than nothing, and this way, we can have it both ways. The creators who don't like Peter Parker being married, they can continue doing whatever their stupid thing is, and then the rest of and then I can, you know, and then those of us who didn't like One More Day, we can read Renew Your Vows and we'll all be happy. That seemed like a compromise to me. But then uh, they had to, they had to ruin that because the book started selling well, and 1 month it outsold. It was actually outselling the Amazing Spider-Man, and I don't think Marvel liked that the because 2 months later they had removed a writer and they had replaced the artist with the worst comic book artist I have ever seen. And it produced and it was responsible for what I think is the worst cover in comic book history. I mean, look at look at the Amazing Spider-Man Renew Your Vows, issue 23, and tell me that that isn't the worst cover ever made. Huh, I'm getting some sort of warning here. Let's see what that's all about. I need to go to windowed. Yes. So it will let me go over here and see what's going on. Saying warning. Okay. That's just a warning about my bit rate. Okay. Okay. I don't know what to do. Okay. So that's nothing. Thanks for flashing a warning up on my screen about nothing. Ugh. Okay. But anyway, it's just like I feel like the whole America comic book industry has just become some Jonestown like cult that just exists to worship Mark Waid and Gail Simone. Why would you do that, idiot? Ugh. But yeah, it feels like it's just Gail Simone and Mark Waid's own personal doomsday cult where they're just waiting for the comic book world to end, and while they grapple into while they desperately hang on to what little power they have left. And I just decided I'd rather not watch it. I mean, the new Ultimate Spider-Man comic is something I would have been interested in before they nuked Renew Your Vows. I feel like they deliberately sabotaged Renew Your Vows when it started doing well and getting praise, and the letter section was full of people praising the creators. Those who think comic book fans are toxic, go back and look at the letter section for Renew Your Vows and see the people say, and see the fans just saying positive things about that book and saying, thank you for making this book, I like it, I stopped. And there were a lot of letters from people like me who were like, I stopped reading after one more day, but I'm willing to compromise with you guys. In the main storyline, Peter Parker can remain unmarried. He can hook up with a bisexual black cat. You can make him gay. You can kill him off. You can do whatever you want. And we'll just have our little niche title here that, does the Peter Parker we grew up with. But, again, it seems like they'd rather burn. It seems like Mark Waid's feelings on this are pretty much on par with the entire comic book industry, because it seems like anytime we reach a compromise with the creatives and we're like, okay, we'll buy this. And it's like, for instance, now anything Comicsgate, and I won't deny that there have been a few individuals who way too far in comic geek, but then again, there are people in the mainstream comic book industry who also went too far. So that goes both ways. And, well, I think people get the idea is I'm like, it feels like they just, and then when their sales gets down so low that their corporate overlords are about to close them, then they try to do a bait and switch and tempt us with something this, like this new Ultimate Spider-Man title, which again, 5, 6 years ago, I would have pre-ordered it. The moment they announced it, I would have pre-ordered it, and I would be buying both, and I would have bought both, and I would be subscribed to both the digital and the print versions, and I would be giving it a chance. But now I'm just sure they're going to bait and switch it. I am so sure they're going to bait and switch it. I don't care. I'm just like, well, what am I supposed to care about this? I don't think so. I mean,
Transmission coming in, Commander.
I mean,
I think you're going to want to hear this one.
Greetings, Commander Shepard. I represent a party interested in obtaining information on Cerberus activities.
are you also interested in obtaining some just for men hair gel? Some just for men hair regrowth stuff?
If you know something about Cerberus, you'd better tell me.
I suspect I know less about Cerberus than you do. I'm merely an agent for the Shadow Realm. You see, Kahoku contacted my employer looking for information on the location of any Cerberus facilities. We provided that information on the promise that he would turn over copies of all files gathered from the Cerberus systems to us.
You must have some connection to Cerberus. How else could you tell Kahoku where to find them?
Good point.
Information is our business, Commander.
But yeah, I just have to wonder what's.
Unfortunately, that was all we were able to find out.
I don't know.
That is why we are so interested in acquiring copies of the files from you.
I've just been burned so many times, I just can't get excited about it anymore. I'm sort of not even excited about indie comics anymore.
Now in your possession.
I mean, here's the thing. You can't even buy the comics you like without getting into a flame war or it becoming a political thing. Like, it's not enough that there are people whose comics I just happen to like. I have to then be on their side in the culture war. It's not the same. For most of the time when I was growing up, I had no idea what the politics were of the other people I read comics with or anything.
These are classified
And it's just like, no, I didn't know the politics of the people writing the comics, and now it's like a whole thing. If you buy this one person's comic, then the other person doesn't want you buying their comic, and even within the Comicsgate community, it's the same thing. There's infighting between the members.
What are you going to do with this information?
I just don't.
Information is a commodity.
It's just like comics are supposed to be a source of, cheap, quick entertainment and and exciting entertainment with characters that I like, that I relax. But now
Transmit the files.
it's becoming a whole thing. It's become a whole thing, and that's why I haven't. And it's just like, but then, and now, I'm like, and here's the thing. Okay, that's just a Solarian artifact thing. But it's just this whole thing, and it's like, it's like, and you just get, there's just nothing but dogpiling now, and I'm just like, and now, it seems like in mainstream comics, you have to have the personal blessing of Mark Waid and Gail Simone to even exist, and Mark Waid and Gail Simone seem to hold the power to decide whether comics continue to exist or not. I don't know, it's just, I was checked out of the whole comic book thing. I mean, I haven't even been on really any Comicsgate streams or anything like that, making comments or anything or watching them, because I'm just so busy and I'm just so checked out. But, that just brought me back in. I mean, to hear a comic book professional say that he wants the industry to burn down, just... I don't know, it's just insane. And a similar thing seems to be happening with the movies, whereas the movies you used to be able to see pretty even-handed, now everything is being turned into a political issue. It's like everything is political propaganda now. You're not allowed to, it's like you can't just say, oh, I kind of liked, oh, this movie was okay, but, Godzilla, but, the latest Godzilla -1, that was my favorite movie of the year. Oh, no, you have to get into, wait, he doesn't have any hacking abilities, so I better take Liara. Tiali, I mean, but yeah. But it's like...
Equalizing interior pressure with exterior atmosphere.
Hey, Colorado releases first 5 gray wolves as part of its reintroduction program. Finally, something non-depressing to talk about. That's fun, I guess. That's good, I guess. I mean, if that's enough, I don't know if that's enough to make any impact and help get the species back on their feet or not, but hey.
That's far enough.
We're not here to cause problems.
This is an unscheduled arrival. I need your credentials.
You first.
I mean...
We're the law here. Show some respect.
I mean, again, they see... I don't know. It just reminds me, if you've ever heard the recordings of Jim Jones' recording of Jonestown, it sort of reminds me of that, of, well, if I can't control it, it's all going down.
I'm a Spectre. My name is Shepard.
Load of horse crap, man. We will need to confirm that. Also, I must advise you that firearms are not...
Why do people say that something is a load of horse crap? I mean, is horse crap of lower quality than other animals' crap?
Nobody takes my weapon.
Charge and lock. We are authorized to use lethal force. You have to the count of 3
I
to
mean-
surrender your weapons.
I mean, really,
1.
is horse crap any worse?
Captain Matsuo, stand down.
But it's like, again, in the movies, the same thing has happened. I mean...
Confirm their identity. Spectres are authorized to carry weapons here, Captain.
I mean, I'm ready to script because I'm doing a 20-year retrospective on the Battlestar Galactica mini-series that came out, that I'm hoping to have out by the end of the year. It's been slow getting videos out just because I've been busy and a lot of stuff has been happening, but the rate of my video production is going to pick up at the end of the year, and once I get on a Christmas break, I'm going to have more time for videos and stuff.
I am Tiana Parsi,
And it's
Assistant
like...
to Administrator Ananias. We apologize for the incident in the docking bay.
I appreciate your help.
But it's like...
You're welcome. You understand our security chief was only doing her job. One of my duties is orientation of new arrivals. Do you have any questions?
Pretty heavy security for such a small port.
The executive board does
I mean,
everything in its
it's
power
just
to protect the
feels...
privacy of our client corporations.
I can't have my investigation hampered.
Tread lightly. The board can bury you in litigation. You'd need an Asari lawyer to see the case through.
Like I care. The Krogan lived just as long as the Asari. Couldn't I get a Krogan lawyer? I want to see a Krogan lawyer. I want to see a Krogan lawyer.
Has anyone unusual passed through here recently?
Unusual? And
Anybody else want anybody else want a Phoenix Wright game with a Krogan lawyer?
She is here?
Can I speak with her?
Venezia left for the Peak 15 research complex days ago. To the best of my knowledge, she's still there.
Could you tell me how to get there?
You'll need to ask Administrator Analeas for clearance to leave this port.
Where can I find the administrator?
His office is on the main level, left at the top of the elevator.
Understood. Can we go in now?
Of course.
But it's
If you need
like,
any help, you can ask me at the administrator's office.
it's like, yeah.
She is
And
here.
it just blows my mind how
I imagine
things
you
have
must talk to me
changed.
sometime.
I rewatched that mini-series, that Battlestar Galactica mini-series,
No.
for the first time in years, you know.
You may not
And
be
it just blew my mind how many of the things that they're trying to do now, but are just becoming a complete political, they're just blowing up in their face. That series actually did well. And I went through a phase where
Welcome to Port Hanshan.
where that thing was the biggest thing in the world to me. Then I sort of burnt out on it, and I just decided that I didn't like it. But I went back and rewatched it for like the first time
Given by our security personnel.
since it
If you have
went off the air, and
friendly
just based on the mini-series, it's like, for instance, well, I don't want to give away what I'm going to say in my video, but yeah, it's like one of those things of like,
This one offers greetings.
it's
You are
like
the
one of those
spectre
things
visits
that,
Port Hanshan. News travels fast here.
it's like one of those things that like,
Indeed, esteemed Spectre. Your arrival was not greeted with any joy by the companies here.
it's just like,
This one has
we
a burden
used to
you
be
leave.
that people didn't hate
If an
each other the
arrangement
way
can be
they
made,
do
it will
today.
compensate you.
This world just seems to have,
This one
it
will
seems to be
procure a
one
special
motivated
item
by
for a customer.
hate and people
The item is not permitted
judging each
within the
other.
station, but you could bring it through customs. You want me to use my status to smuggle for you?
And now we get to
Is
the
not
elephant in the
unhappy.
room.
I have no problem with that. This one humbly thanks the Spectre.
I mean,
The package will be delivered to your vessel. All you need do is bring it to this one. Please do not mention this to Administrator Analeas. That one would levy fees.
but it's like,
Is there anything else this one might help you with?
out of everything that's happened this year, though, I really, really didn't think we were going to get to the Completionist was committing charity fraud for 10 years. And let me tell you something. I wasn't sure what was going on with him until I heard that recording and saw his response video. And you want to know the energy that response video gave me? Have you ever watched The Godfather Part 2? There's a scene in there where Michael Corleone, the Senate has basically, they've uncovered everything about him. They have him nailed dead to rights. But he's fixing everything behind the scenes. So he has this prepared statement where he shows his indignity in front of the TV cameras, you know, that are broadcasting these Senate hearings. And that's the energy I got from the Completionist's response video. It felt like a prepared statement, and that somebody else had wrote for him, that he was reading off, and he was doing this fake outrage because he's told, well, an innocent person would be outraged, so that's the way he wanted to act. But he doesn't know how to act like an innocent person because I think his whole family must be shady. I mean, with the golf tournament being involved and everything else. And if he wants to sue me, go ahead. I don't have any money, but go ahead, because the first thing that will happen is in Discovery, even if I have to represent myself because of a lack of money, the first thing that happens if you sue me is I get to open up all the books related to this to prove that, because you have to prove that what I said, I had no reasonable reason for thinking it. So first thing that happens, I get to open those books, and those books, and you get to, and you, you know, and that's the thing is, so yeah, if he wants to sue me, he can go ahead and do it. But I think his whole family has always been shady, and once they, and his dad, personally, the energy I get from him is that he's not the one behind this.
That a sum of 250 credits would be most appropriate. You're trying to make me laugh. You think I'm here to amuse you, to make funny sputtering noises when you offer an insult instead of a reward.
It's like,
no,
honestly,
I
if I had to guess how this whole thing started, I would say it was his dad's idea to get a golf tournament, because here's the thing. I think the call, now that I've heard the whole call, I think the call he had with Some Ordinary Gamers and Carl Jobs, that was him being his most honest, because he didn't have a chance to think on his feet. And he sounded more honest in that. His voice definitely sounded more honest to me.
That's thoughtful of you.
And if you notice, he said, he basically said at the begin in that call that he basically implied that he's been fighting with his and that his family's somehow involved, and that he hasn't agreed with him. So I think he knew this whole time, but I think it was really his family's idea. I think when he implied that he's been fighting with his family, I think that might have been actually honest of him. I'm not saying that he's a good guy. He's obviously not. But I think maybe he was, and I think the reason why he was getting so teared up when he talked about going to his family and telling them is because he knew they were going to slap him around. I think from the way he acts normally and how when he's not reading prepared statements, he seems like a very meek person. I think he's scared to death of his dad. I think he was scared to death of telling his dad, "Look, the jig's up. We've been found out," and that it was his, and that it had to do with his channel blowing the lid on this.
Tell me about the companies that work on Novaria.
Over 250 high-tech firms rent our labs. Major shareholders.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
Risk Control Services, Binary Helix, and Synthetic Insights Limited.
Your guards work for ERCS, don't they?
The executive board gets a discount on facility.
Yeah, and
security.
I think what it is I think that he's the middleman in this, and I think he slipped up when he talked on the call, and he let something slip. And then when he had to go to his family and tell them, I think his dad, I don't think, people keep saying that they think his statement was written by a lawyer. No, it was obviously written by somebody, but I think it was written by his dad, who has even more of a temper than he does, and I think his dad slapped him around like Vito Corleone slapping around Sonny Corleone when he talked out of turn and was like, don't ever tell anyone outside the family what you're thinking. I really think.
Haven't I seen Synthetic Insights in the news lately?
I think that's what happened. I think what he was afraid of is exactly what happened. His dad told him, stop it, you don't talk outside the family. What were you thinking?
I'd like to speak to Annaleus.
One moment, please. Mr. Annaleus.
Yes, what?
Commander Shepard is asking to see you, sir.
Right, fine, come in.
I mean, I think that's what it was. And I think then his father wrote the statement, because his father's been through this sort of thing before, and his father, and it was.
I have no time to
he did a.
rubes.
I see you looked up my service record.
Only a fool
It seems,
with the
and
knowledge of the other party's tendencies.
here's the thing.
This greeting as a courtesy.
I've seen criminals operate before, and this is a very typical thing.
Avoid the second guessing of galactic law.
Are you telling
First
me
of
you have no
all,
safety protocols?
they try to get off
Don't be
without
ridiculous.
doing
You
anything.
think a for-profit company would
They
take
try to
no
manipulate
precautions
you
against loss of
emotionally.
life and
That's
material?
why everything the
Have the final say
completionist
here,
does
not
is about
reps
his
and
dead mom, his
politicians.
dead mom, his dead mom. Here's the thing, completionist.
Do you do business with Sarah?
Here's the thing.
Agent Sarah, one of your Spectre compatriots?
Unless something tragic
She's
happens,
best
all
alive.
children outlive their
Various
parents.
backers.
Yes, you're sad for a while, but
Is binary helix developing?
it's not
weapons for
something
it?
that I should feel sorry for you
It's
for the
possible,
rest of your
given this
life
interest.
and not
What
let
clients do
you
in their labs is their business.
and, you know,
I've heard an Asari matriarch is here.
and baby you for the rest of your life and let you do whatever you want
She arrived
because,
a few days ago,
oh, you've
accompanied
had
by
such a
customized
sad life
parts
that's
and
so much
hardware,
harder
which
than
is
everyone
Completionist.
else.
What can you tell me about her cargo?
Large,
I mean-
heavy, and sealed. It passed weapons screening. Beyond that, it is not our concern.
What do you mean, personal escort?
The phrase is
I
self-explanatory.
mean, what is...
Bodyguards attending to the safety of her person.
I mean-
Asari commandos.
I'm sorry. You were going to outlive your mom.
They followed
It
all our
feels...
regulations.
And I
No
just
reason
feel
for
like
preventing
he...
Venezia from taking them.
I don't know. I don't think this whole thing was his idea because I don't get the impression he's smart enough or he has the guts to come up with something like this on his own. And I think what it was some sort of investment scam. Like, they were using money from the charity to invest in other things, and then they were putting back just enough so that if they ever got caught, they could donate it and say,
What
see,
brought
we...
her out here?
If I knew, I wouldn't be at liberty to say. She came here as Agent Saren's executor. She's here on
And
business
that's
matters.
my take on the whole
There were issues at
completionist
Peak
thing,
15
is that...
required Saren's attention.
I'd like to see her immediately.
I'm afraid that you cannot. Peak 15 is a private facility in the Skadi Mountains. Regardless, there is a blizzard in the area. Shuttles are grounded and surface access has been cut off.
Surface access, you say?
Cut off, I said. The roads are not suitable for travel. Don't make an issue of this, Shepard.
Let him be stubborn, Shepard. I'm sure someone else here is willing to help us.
I have no more questions at this time.
Good. I received a dozen urgent messages while you dithered about.
And it's just like... So, I honestly think he's somebody who was put in this from near the beginning of his YouTube channel, and he's just being told what to say. That doesn't absolve him of anything, but I honestly think he's not the mastermind. And I think that's why you hear such fear in his voice in that call, is because he feels stuck between the people investigating him and his dad, and I think he knows in his heart of hearts that the rest of his family are selfish, backstabbing people just like him. I mean, you only have to see how he threw friends like JonTron and Pro Jared under the bus, especially as JonTron helped him get started on YouTube. You only have to see how he threw them to know that he's a real backstabber, and he threw Pro Jared under the bus, even though Pro Jared, I don't even like Pro Jared, but Pro Jared was one of the few people to stand up for him, and he just threw him under the bus without a second thought. I think he learned that. I think that it's learned behavior on his part, and he thinks that's what everybody is like, and that's why he does.
Not within earshot of Mr. Ananias.
Talk to you later.
And that's why he's doing, but I very much feel like but I think he knows that his family will gladly throw him under the bus if the IRS gets involved. And I don't even think the IRS is necessarily getting involved. I know a lot of people think it's a done deal, but I really don't think so. I mean, he said, we welcome an audit, but if you listen to the wording, I think he was just bluffing and said, you know, he was obviously bluffing because nobody welcomes an audit, but I think he just meant hypothetically. I don't know if an audit's actually coming. I don't think there have been nearly enough reports to trigger that, and I don't think the IRS cares about some YouTuber. And $600,000 is nothing to the IRS. I don't think that's enough to trigger them taking any sort of action. So I really don't think that's going to happen. And I don't think they want to get involved. I think if any reports the IRS gets, they'll think it's just part of a YouTube pissing match and not get involved. So I don't think there's going to be any sort of
The male human at the
anything.
hotel
I don't think there's going to be any legal consequences for him, but I think his YouTube career is over. I think this statement did its job in that respect, in that it made it so.
Do you know who I am?
I think his statement did what his father intended in that it recontextualized everything as just being typical YouTube drama. So, and that's the way the IRS will look at it. They'll be like, well, maybe, but this is just a bunch of YouTubers reporting each other and trying to use us to get involved in their drama.
He's right there.
And I think that's how it's going to play out in the end. And
I already bungled this myself.
I really don't.
Realized I was not a real buyer.
I don't know anything about binary helix. What would I talk to Vargas about?
I really think that's. I really don't think. But I think it has effectively ended his YouTube career. But then again, he's a millionaire off of that, so I don't think it matters.
Much of BH's work is chaotic.
Even without the fraud. But my judgment is that he's stuck in the middle of this. Not that that makes him any more less of a criminal, but he knows that if it were to come down to, if the government were to investigate it, if the IRS were to get involved, I think he knows his family will throw him under the bus, cut ties with him, and let him be the one who pays the fines or goes to jail or something.
It will upload a variety of monitoring viruses. They will
And I really think that's the way this will play.
Interesting plan. I'm in.
Excellent. Here is the cracking device. You will know it is done when it beeps.
I really think that's how this is going to go down.
I could brief you on his behavior patterns.
Tell me what you know about Vargas.
And I think that's the way it's going to play out.
With those who waste his time. I tried to
Is
get him
he's
distracted
going
and
to be.
off-topic. He concluded I was not interested in his company's services. I noticed he has
Is he is his YouTube career is over, and the reason why he's so scared is not over the whole he can live without YouTube for the rest of his life,
I'll go see him.
but I think he's afraid that if there were legal consequences, he would be the only one to get punished, and
Can I help you?
Mr. Vargas, I'm Commander Shepard, a Spectre. I understand you work for Binary Helix.
and
Raphael Vargas sales.
I really
Are you
do.
interested in our services?
I might be. That depends on what sort of offer your company can make.
It was my understanding that the Citadel contracted to a Solarian corporation for its advancement programs.
Mr. Vargas, I'm here to talk business with you. If you'd rather speculate on politics, I can visit another Gen Age firm.
You have my full attention, Shepard. I'm merely getting a handle on my negotiating position. First, the boilerplate discussion.
But it's like that's what I think is that this was something his dad was already doing with the golf tournament, and then he said, "Oh, YouTubers raise money too. Okay, we'll use you to do this too." And
I've never heard of a technique that improves zero gravity endurance.
It's a first for the industry.
and it's just like,
Zero-based artificial gravity made it a less
so it's going to be a
We're still waiting
big
for
deal.
tests to give us an average improvement.
So, you know,
Made a 7 to 11% decrease.
so that's why he's acting so scared. And I really think it was somebody else who told him to make the threats and get indignant. I really think,
From 12 to 22,000.
because that's a real criminal thing. First, they try to manipulate you emotionally.
That's the commercial price for individual purchasers. I'm offering you millions of jobs, Mr. Vargas. That's worth more than some stock sensory upgrades.
I'll give you a cautious probably. There is a standard discount for bulk orders, but I can't authorize that. I can push it upstairs. I'm sure someone will get back to you on it. I have to admit, it surprised me that you're here for business. There are many development projects on Bavaria, some not entirely.
don't get in my face, I'm not gonna dig them up. I'm not here for a random spot check.
My apologies. I shouldn't have belabored the point.
I'm sorry, Mr. Vargas. That's a call.
But it's like,
Thank you for your time.
Of course, Commander Shepard. We look forward to doing business with the city.
but it's like, so that's where I think he is.
Results?
Your toy did its job.
Excellent. I will transfer 500 credits to your account.
Only 500. All right. I thought you might have wanted to
But it's
provide
like,
more, since you couldn't do it yourself.
yeah.
Did I say 500?
People are focusing on him, but I think we need to do some more research into his dad, because I really think, because it really comes off that he's scared of somebody else, and that's going to throw him under the bus. And I really think he was.
Sorry. The hotel is off limits to those without a corporate account.
I really think.
Don't hang up. Elder brother, it's me. I'm on the very now.
Beat it! Beat it! I'm just like. So, yeah, I really think that this is just the tip of the iceberg, and, you know, he's been in contact with Hollywood celebrities, which I know she's not the biggest name in Hollywood, but when it comes to influence, she has a lot, so somebody's got in him the contact information of Hollywood royalty, like Jamie Lee Curtis. She's not the biggest name in Hollywood, but she's been involved and she's been on his streams. She's been giving him money, and it's one of the. And I just find it interesting that, you know, he went from nothing to, you know, she's the daughter of Jamie Lee, Tony Curtis. That she's Hollywood royalty. Everyone in Hollywood knows her, and I just find it interesting that, you know, he was able to make it.
What can I do for you? Are you Lorik Keene? I've heard you
That,
might be able to
you know, he's been able to make it this big, and then he's pretending, and it's like one of those things of.
Possibly help you with.
I'm trying to find a way into the garage. I have places to go.
And it's just. He just feels like a middleman. I don't believe he could have come up with all this on his own. And I think he's running scared. So I think it's time. If you're gonna keep. If, as a YouTuber, you're gonna keep it making videos about this and investigating it, this, like Carl Joss and stuff, the golf tournament and his dad's company have to have some. Have to have some public records. If I were somebody like Carl Jost or some ordinary gamer, I'd start looking into that, because I think that probably has. I think that the most interesting story will be found there, and I think we'll get a more complete look. Of course, we might not get that unless the IRS looks into it, but I don't think they will. But
You have a plan?
I do. However, there is one other. What is that charming human expression? Fly in the lotion? Violence against Mr. Ananias' thugs may be necessary. He has members of Hanshan's security team searching my offices. He's paying them under the table. Miss Matsuo is unaware of their outside employment.
I'll focus on trying to get your evidence. If I'm lucky, I won't have to fight anyone.
Excellent. Here is my pass into our offices. It will activate the elevator.
But it's, yeah.
The evidence is on my office computer. This OSD contains an encryption.
Now here's the other big story is, like, the guy who plays Kang, Jonathan Majors, he's been found guilty. But here's the thing. all of YouTube is going on about how he's been fired, but I can't find anything confirming that. I can't find any statement from Disney. Again, this seems to be wishful thinking from YouTubers who just want, you know, more Disney drama to report on because that gets a lot of views. Here's the thing, he's not going to serve any jail time. Everything he did, you get probation for. I mean, technically you can go to jail for it, but I don't think any normal person would go to jail, and especially a big Hollywood celebrity isn't going to go to jail. And Disney, and since he's so important to the MCU, Disney is not about to cut ties with him over this because it'll blow over. By the time the next movie with Kang in it comes out, it will have completely blown over. Nobody will even have remembered it. He will have served his probation. If any other women try to come forward, Disney will pay them off. We saw the same thing with Warner Brothers and Ezra Miller. It's going to be the exact same thing. He has the race card. He has all this and he has all this others. And he has the fact that he's part of the biggest movie franchise of all time. Anybody who thinks he's getting fired or he's going to serve a day in jail is crazy. Disney isn't going to drop him.
Freeze.
That's just YouTube drama, if you ask me.
Laura King gave me a pass in.
And it's just like...
Are you working for him? He's under investigation.
Analeus is paying you to shake this place down. Does Captain Matsuo know you're here?
And it's just like...
I'm not the one who wants King. Analeus has a Varan up his ass.
Normal Hollywood people don't go to jail for assaulting their girlfriends, and they don't get their movies canceled. And the Me Too movement was years ago. Nobody's worried about it anymore. Nobody's worried... You know, the people who made the Me Too movement don't control Twitter anymore. So I really don't think, and women are viewed, and here's what you need to remember: women aren't human in Hollywood. Women are property, and all these women he assaulted are women that he met on the production of Marvel movies. So yeah. So Disney is just going to apply pressure of the "you'll never work in this town again" type to them, and it will go away. Even though she won this case, it will go away. Disney will make it go away, and they'll make sure no other women will come forward because no other women, because I guarantee you, this woman who just charged him, she is never going to work in Hollywood again because she damaged the most profitable film franchise in history. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying that's the way it should be, but it's the way the world actually works. Hollywood controls the flow of information, and money talks. And what's more, Disney cares about two things: money and their franchises. And Jonathan may have money, their franchises, their, and their virtue signaling. And it doesn't look good for their virtue signaling for them to drop a black man from being from the MCU. It just doesn't in the current year politics. So there's no way they're dropping him. He could murder somebody on camera, and there's no way they would drop him. So I think that's why we haven't heard anything official from Disney, and it's all just a bunch of YouTube channels saying he's been fired, even though Disney hasn't made an announcement. Disney hasn't said anything. Why do you think they haven't said anything? They would have had, if they were going to fire him, they would have had that ready to go the moment he was found guilty, and it would have been, and like 10 minutes after that, they would have announced that. The fact that we haven't heard anything means he's not fired.
Do you plan on making me leave?
Leave?
I mean,
think I'm gonna let you walk out?
He isn't going to face anything.
You off world for what you did here. I won't. You know what we did to cop killers on my world?
You're here off duty breaking the law for bribe money. You expect us to feel bad for stopping you?
Thank you.
I didn't want to fight them. They fired first.
Well, I don't need a gun to really...
Oh. You're the most dedicated corrupt cops I've ever seen. He'll survive this just fine. In 5 years, he'll be the biggest star in Hollywood. Nothing's gonna happen to him. So yeah, that's just wishful thinking on YouTube's part. Now the MCU, it might not survive this. They might, you know.
Commander, there have been reports of noise from the Synthetic Insights office. Would you know anything about it?
Probably Analeus' thugs ripping the place apart.
Smartass, huh?
So yeah.
I can work with that. Meet me at the hotel for a drink before you talk to Keen. I'll be waiting.
That's the way the world works. Here's the thing. We don't have any say in the world. The world isn't fair. There isn't any justice in this world. The only justice that comes is after we die and we're judged by God. That's when you get justice. But you can't find it in this world, so we should stop looking for it here. I mean, you think we have a say in the government? You think we have... You think that, you know, you think our election or us, you think we actually know anything that's going on in the world for sure? You think in a world of CGI, made up videos, you know, hashtags, Twitter, all AI, all this stuff, that we can be sure anything is real? I mean, that's how I feel. Is it? So yeah, I don't look for justice in this world.
Why is an internal affairs agent?
So, you know,
The executive board knows about Analeus'
that's one of the things that appeals to me about fiction like this is the fact that you get to work towards justice and engage, and that's why I tend to.
You work for Analeus. Can't you just take his records?
I mean,
He's a crook, not a
that's what
moron.
appeals to me about these
He logged
games.
on his computer saying, "This month I stole 3 million credits."
Is because, but the world of there being any sort of justice or being able to actually do something to change, that's pure fiction, so I don't bother with it.
I thought corruption was the rule on Novaria.
Yeah, me too.
The rule is don't rock the boat. Self-interest is tolerated if it doesn't interfere
So,
with
yeah.
Analeus is driving customers away.
I need Keen's garage pass to complete my mission.
You help my investigation, I'll provide whatever you need. Favor for a favor.
In the long run, it is better to remove the source of the problem.
But yeah, so
Look, Shepard,
I really don't think, if you're expecting justice in this Jonathan Major situation, it's not happening.
All right, I'll talk to Keen and see if I can convince him.
Thank you. You know where I work. Come talk
They're
to me
going
once
to the
you know
wrong
if we'll play
place,
ball.
because this is a fallen world. So that means he... Right, Supreme here.
Always a pleasure, Spectre. Any news on that matter I asked you to look into?
I finished the job, but an internal affairs investigator contacted me. She wants you to testify against Analeus.
Now that you have my property, you want to dictate how I use it. I have no interest in a public spectacle.
If necessary, yes. Do what I tell you to, or Analeus will find what he's looking for.
And it's just like...
Have all our cards on the table. I regret
So...
better hand. Very well.
Yeah, I think the most realistic way to look at this is that is that Jonathan Majors, he's going to have a slight bump while they wait for people to forget about this. But in the end, he'll be fine. Remember, I think they've got 2 or 3 years until Kang Dynasty comes out. So any probation he has to serve will be long gone, and it'll just be, oh, it was a he said, she said domestic incident. We live in a world where multiple presidents have been accused of rape, where Frank Sinatra is considered a legend despite his ties to the mob, and the fact that the story of how the mob got him his career was pretty much retold with some slight name changes in one of the most popular films of all time. That's the world we live in. We live in a world where if you want to say anything, you need the permission of corrupt politicians and corrupt and criminals and is
Spectre, have you given any more consideration
so
to
yeah.
my offer?
It took some persuasion. Keen
That's
has agreed to testify.
why when I get too stressed I tend to do this, and that's why I kind of stopped paying attention to the news. And I'm losing weight since then because I'm not stressing out the way I used to. I've just gotten used to the fact that whatever Christ wants to happen will happen.
So, how about getting me into the garage?
While you were working on Keen, I got you a garage pass. Be careful up there. I have an arrest to make. Wish I had time to change into something easy to move in. I hate skirts.
This is an outrage. I'll see that you never work in this sector again.
Yeah, get a move
And
on.
it's just like,
You, Shepard, I command you place this bitch under arrest.
You have the right to remain silent. I wish to God you'd exercise it. See you around the galaxy, Commander. I owe you a beer.
oh, I need to find something. Where did I put that thing? There's a puzzle coming up that I figured out for myself, but after that I wrote down the solution to it. Oh, did I lose that piece of paper? No, I don't think I did. Did I? Oh no. Tell me I lost it. Oh no. Oh boy. Yeah, I may just omni-gel my way out of it then. As I said, there's a puzzle coming up, and I spent like 3 or 4 days trying to figure it out and writing down each step I took until I got it, and then ever since then I've been I've just looked at the piece of paper that I have in the game case to but yeah, I don't understand where the game case got to. But again, I have moved some things around while decorating my room for Christmas, so it might be, So I might just omni-gel it. I know that seems like a cheat, but hey. I don't feel like going through all that again. Or maybe I'll just look it up on my phone. But yeah. But trust me. Oh, here it is, yeah. Here it is, yep. Okay. And here's the proof. And here it is. Here it is, here's the proof. Here this is. This is from like I got the PC version in like 2009 or 8 or something. Here it is. Here's the solution I wrote down. So yeah, in my original PC game case, but yeah. Maybe not the biggest thing. I think the thing I'm most proud of is when after more than a decade of trial and error, I beat Myst without a walkthrough. That's probably the thing I'm most proud of. That's probably my most proud accomplishment as a gamer, Of course, nowadays I tried replaying the remaster. Of course, I couldn't remember the solution to half the puzzles now because I beat it back on my old, on the first computer my family ever owned back in like 2005. We didn't get our first computer in 2005. That computer was relegated to being a backup computer, and we had owned it for about a decade at that point. But it's like, ugh, yeah.
He was corrupt.
But yeah.
Most people here are. I wish you could take them all down. So what can I do for you today?
You seem like you have an ear to the ground. What's happening around here?
There's the problems up on Peak 15. Synthetics Insights was shut down by Ananias. And the matriarch came through.
Thanks for voting.
And it's like, yeah.
What do you do here?
And it's like,
Chief mechanic for Handshake. Just call me Lee. Humans have a problem saying my full name. Got a team of 12 under me, keeping the shuttles coming and going.
What sort of problems are there at Peak 15?
and it's like,
There's a blizzard up there, but we've had those before. Never cut
West
the
Coast Store,
satellite uplinks before.
but it's like,
15's always had a lousy reputation. Nobody talks about what they do there. And everyone sent up comes back a little quieter.
What was that about Synthetic Insights?
Ananias had shut down SI. Looks like he was trying to blackmail. It happens often enough. He got caught this time, though. Looks like the executive board is going to feed him to the NAFAC.
something we never hear mentioned in the series again.
Do you know where that matriarch is now?
You looking for her? She took a shuttle to Peak 15 before we lost contact.
I have to go.
You need anything? I'll be here.
I'll be here.
Access to the garage is restricted.
I have authorization. Excuse me.
Yes, that's genuine. Drive safely. The weather's supposed to be pretty bad out in the Alutsk Valley.
Why does it always default to the sniper rifle?
I'd say these are what the matriarch had in the crates.
Oh, Where's that sniper thing? Okay, where's the last one? What? There it goes.
Where are these things? Fan out and secure the area. No one gets in or out.
Oh, boy.
What did you do here, Commander?
The Geth ambushed us. We fought back. That's it.
Yeah.
The Geth ambush, some fighting occurred, that's about all we know.
The matriarch packed them in the shipping container she arrived with.
I don't believe that. We did thorough scans of those. There were no power sources, no element zero masses. If Benezia Sama's containers were packed with these things, there are many more out there.
I need numbers, Captain. A dozen? 100?
Dozens, at least. They're machines. You could pack them tightly. I must report to the executive board. If word gets out about loose Geth, there may be an investor panic.
No, really? People might think it's a bad idea to invest money here. Can't imagine why. Let's go. doesn't care. I don't have to reload from too far away if I happen to go off the side of a cliff or something. I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, it's control on this one. It has the zoom in, which you will need here. Let's go, man. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go, Mass Effect. Let's go. But it's like, yeah. There you go. Well, I think that got him. They'll bring infantry to a Mako fight. Oh no, whatever will I do? It's not like I've taken out dozens of these so far. Oh no. Well, they do convincingly make it look cold, I'll give them that. I love watching them fly like that. Look at them run. He must have spent quite a bit of time here. Sarah must have spent quite a bit of time here building all these turrets and everything. Just to delay me for like 30 seconds. Doesn't seem like it was worth it. Phew. One thing you can say about snow in video games is it helps give a level atmosphere. much do you think Saren spent on all this stuff? His bank account must be looking pretty empty right about now. Hi-ho, hi-ho, it's off the killing I go. Now to see if that same graphical glitch that keeps infecting my games of Mass Effect 1 is still here in the Legendary Edition. Let's see. Wait, I can actually see the enemies. They're not just big black blobs. I swear, even when BioWare said they had patched that, it wasn't patched in the original game. Yeah, I can see that.
Biohazard materials present throughout facility. Virtual intelligence user interface offline.
We'll need to get the reactors back online. Why are the turrets facing the wrong way?
They want to keep their people in as much as they want to keep others out.
Oh no, there's nothing here. Nothing important here. Move along. No way I would put my gun away in this situation. Aha! There we go. Okay. Where's that last guy hiding? Oh, there you are.
What was that?
Animals? Wind? This place is in bad shape.
I'll say. Good night. The one time your college education could have come in useful and you didn't study the right subject, Liara. Huh. Okay, normally one's jumped out of there by now. Oh well. Oh, you're late. Okay. Okay. Oh, let's take care of that. Come to manual reactivation. Okay, here it goes. 1, 2, 1, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2, 1, 2, 1, 3, 2, 3, 2, 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 3, 2. Free. I'm very happy.
It looks like you're trying to restore this facility.
Ah, crap, it's Clippy.
How do I shut this thing up?
This system is monitored to respond to the name Mira. May I ask your name?
Commander Shepard. I work for the Citadel's Special Tactics and Reconnaissance.
One moment, please. Council authority confirmed. You are entitled to secure access of all systems. Please note that queries relating to corporate secrets require privileged access. Privileged access is only available to binary helix executives. This system is ready to process queries. You may access me at any holographic interface within Peak 15.
I need to find Matriarch Benezia.
Lady Benezia departed on the passenger tramway to the Rift Station subsidiary labs. User alert. The tramway system is currently inoperable.
What's the situation here?
One moment, please. Diagnostics in progress. Critical failure. Main reactor shut down in accordance with emergency containment procedures. Manual restart required.
Well.
Critical failure. Landline connections are disabled. Passenger tram systems are offline. Report complete. Do you have an additional system status query?
That's all I need right now.
Very well, Commander. Logging you out.
And I think I'm gonna log out for now because I need to get some sleep. It's been a long couple of weeks and
Shut down in accordance with emergency
I work tomorrow.
procedures.
So thanks for
Manual
tuning in
restart required.
and see you next time.